avail the exact number of exact time which is available to the others.
Why? Because students had appeared for the full 3 hours, 20 minutes. It is not. It is not as if that the correct paper was circulated midway through the exam. Suppose sometimes what happens is that the incorrect paper is given. Instead of algebra, you give the English paper. By the time the algebra paper comes, half an hour has gone by. Students were never given the SBI paper at these 8 centers. They were given only the CanBank paper.
At Jhajjar, this happened. At some places, this was withdrawn and correct paper was also given. There are centers where this happened,
Now,
like in Chhattisgarh.
Now, how many centers was
Just
the,
verify,
at how many centers was the incorrect
But
question
can
paper
we clarify
withdrawn?
it? Because
Withdrawn?
NTA
I am appearing for NT also. I am appearing for both.
Mr. Kaushik, at how many
That's,
centers, at how many centers was the incorrect question paper withdrawn?
Withdrawn
The
and
correct,
correct
Exactly.
paper.
That's all. In some question, in some centers, even after realizing that instead of Canara, SBI is given or
they continue to write.
they continue to write and 3 hours, 20 minutes time allotted was given. So we are not concerned with that. In some cases,
They withdrew that.
they withdrew it halfway and said that now we are giving you another because
How many centers did that happen?
that figure is my lord 1, 3.
I'll come to Savai Madhopur, my lord. That's
This is
a
an
separate-
isolation.
Consideration, my lord, still the 13th of the June, my lord, they come up with how these make up of Savai Madhopur, then stand to escalate to 1563 as per their own figure.
My lord, I'll come to all that, my lord. If they can respond to.
63 students were such that we, as per our examination, that they were the papers were taken back halfway and they were asked to complete the new paper within that 320 minutes.
My lord, where they
Since
attempted
that could
only
not
Canara
happen.
Bank. My lord, halfway, this is a different story. My lord, halfway is a different story. First is the Canara Bank.
At 8 centers, we found that wrong booklet was distributed. Now, at all these 8 centers, the students complete the examination only in the Canara Bank booklet.
Yes, how many?
Canara Bank only minutes.
We- we'll
8
give not
centers.
the
This
list.
is,
8 centers, right?
this we will further bifurcate.
Now, tell us, how many centers apart from these 8, was the wrong booklet withdrawn and the correct
Yes,
booklet given to
please.
the
I
students?
will give the correct number of that also.
Yeah, just ask.
We'll bifurcate. Yes, minute.
Just you can sit down and ask, no problem.
But if in the meantime, I can.
Just 1 second, let them, we'll also have a little break for 10 seconds.
कुछ निकल रहा है
But in Jhajjar, when I received the instructions. Well, Jhajjar has 3 centers.
Yes,
In one, the entire Canara paper was attempted and nobody disturbed the students thereafter. In remaining 2, realizing the mistake, the paper was taken back halfway and new paper was given. And therefore, they said that we did not get sufficient time, which was true.
Right. Now, why were the grace marks added then?
Initially, my lord, it was decided, which according to me, my lord, was not a very correct decision, that there is some judgment of your lordships in case of a
That's that.
null clat, my lord. That if there is a time problem, if time is less, time available to the student is less, then this is the methodology by which you give the grace marks. That grace marks were given. Thereafter, my lord, that decision was,
Was recalled and a retest was held.
yes, that was, those who did not get the time will get a new paper and new 3 hour 20 minutes.
Now, that retest was held for 1563 students.
Yes.
Now, these 1563 students were drawn from which centers actually?
My lord, wherever there was a time gap.
Page 19 of
Retest is held, that really now, that really
But
doesn't
there,
provide.
there are two, three things into it. One,
Grace.
why grace marks to the students who attempted Canara Bank paper? Why grace marks?
So they
On
were-
4th of June, they were granted, my lord, on 4th of June, they declared only one key. That is the SBI Bank question paper key. There was no Canara Bank paper key.
Hold on
So
1 second.
how they evaluated those people without declaring a key?
Now this grace mark was given initially to whom?
Grace mark was given to the center numbers, which we have given the time number also, which is 1.
Was the grace mark given to only those who had to give, who got the SBI paper in the midstream, or what happened?
The grace marks were given only to those persons from whom the paper was initially given, which was withdrawn, and subsequently given the correct paper.
Right.
What happened?
That
to
is
this?
all. In some,
Now, what happened to those students who appeared in the wrong paper, the Can Bank paper?
their marks were given on the basis of the answer key of their sequence paper.
And they were not made to have the retest?
No, no.
Because the
It's
level of
actually
difficulty is
Yeah,
roughly.
it's the same.
Fair enough, fair
Same.
enough.
It's-
Now, so therefore, the grace marks were given only to those whose papers were withdrawn and given the
Yes,
correct, because they couldn't complete the
which
paper,
we counted as 1563.
which you counted as 153.
Based upon reports of city coordinators and CCTV footage.
This was like not available.
There were 8 centers across the country where the wrong booklet was distributed.
Yes, and
Now, those 8 centers includes the 3 Jhajjar? or-
one of them at Jhajjar.
Two of them. Two
No,
of them.
wrong distribution is
Two of them.
Third was
wrong
100%
distribution and
Canara Bank.
two at Jhajjar.
2 at Jhajjar,
Yes,
where the wrong booklet was distributed and then recalled.
recalled and grace mark was given to those candidates.
Now,
Indeed,
in the 8 centers across India, the same position that the centers, the papers were
Paper
withdrawn?
given, time was not sufficient and therefore grace mark.
But the
Out
number
of
is
4750
3,300.
centers, this occurred, my lord, in 8 centers.
Oh, I see.
4,750 are the total number of centers throughout the country.
So 8, it happened that the wrong booklet was
It's a
given.
wrong booklet, my lord. Whenever, for example, Jhajjar, out of 3, 1 They completed, they were not,
They have not been given a retail, they are being
Yes.
graded. So one.
they are evaluated based on their answers, my lord. Key.
It's factually incorrect. Let me clarify it. My learned senior colleague gave 3,300 are the total student where the wrong booklet was given, withdrawn midway.
No, no, no.
And
Allowed to continue 3,000.
Yes.
Let's say
3,307.
3,000
300.
were allowed to continue, 3,300
They were
wrong paper. They attempted the wrong question paper.
Okay.
150, yes.
Now, my lord, the next question comes is, on 4th of June, when they declared the result, on their website, they declared only one key. One key means only
SBI.
SPI.
SBI.
They didn't declare any other key. How they evaluated Canara Bank questions which was attempted, and where is this separate result they declared for this 3,000 people who attempted Canara Bank paper?
Must have had a key for Canara Bank also.
There is no key declared by them, my lord, till today. Let them show it today now.
Today.
No, not, my lord. 1, 2.
All right, now I'll tell you what. This is all okay. Now show us the data. Let's go into the hard.
Let me complete. my lord. Now, in this Hardyal school, where originally there were 8 people who came,
At the end of it, assuming that some
Lord,
problem happened.
data is
judges,
a
something
circumstantial
happened.
evidence.
We are looking at the entire country now. Show us the data. I mean, that's the heart of the matter.
Lord, I will, just allow me 2 minutes, Lord, because this,
You said 2 minutes, 11:35, we are not.
look,
having
in the
12.
meantime, they start, Lord. Let me just quickly complete it. I was dealing with Hardyal school, Lord. Allow me to just to complete 2-3 centers, and then I'll straight away come to the data. Hardyal school, 500 students, they attempted Canara Bank paper. Just notice him, Lord, and let them respond at the end.
All right, we'll just, Hardyal School,
500
Judger, no?
Other side, Bahadurgarh Jhajjar.
Yes.
Canara Bank paper, no Canara Bank paper key available till date. After re-examination, this all the students were taken in the re-examination. Though there was no delay, admittedly, in distributing question paper,
So all the students at this
Hardyal
Hardyal
school.
school have been required to do a re-examination.
and in the re-examination, about 50% of them appeared, 50% of them did not appear.
That's also very spooky. Why do 50% not appear?
That's right. Only 813 out of 1,563 in total appeared in the re-examination. That's also data.
The person who didn't appear got their original marks, opted to retain their original. That is the.
Now, these 1563 are drawn from how many centers?
Lord, this they have not disclosed. They never disclose it, how many centers. They will answer it.
8 centers
Eight.
throughout. And as my learned friend rightly pointed out, they were given an option to retain the earlier marks.
And
They
all
didn't
is,
take a
Lord,
chance. That
and
was-
all is being done behind the curtain. Nothing was declared. Every day they have been giving press release, but with regard to this, there is not a single press release.
Things which, if you can ask, if you can just make a note of these 4 points, Mr. Solicitor and Mr. Kaushik. One, how many centers, at how many centers were the Canara Bank papers distributed? At how many centers totally were Canara Bank question booklets distributed? 2. Out of those centers, at how many centers were the correct question booklets replaced?
Yes, miss.
At how many centers were the correct question booklets replaced, namely of the State Bank of India?
Yes, miss.
Third, how many centers totally where the questions which were evaluated were the Canara Bank paper, the Canara Bank booklets?
Yes.
Whether there were any centers which were evaluated on the basis of the Canara Bank
Yeah.
booklet.
Yes.
All right?
Wrong paper was evaluated.
The paper was evaluated. And fourth, once the Canara Bank papers were evaluated, how did the candidates fare there?
Where is the key which they have
performance.
ever declared till date? Canara Bank
Why
paper.
have you not declared the key of the Canara Bank papers?
Yes, Minister.
Fifth,
Yes, Minister.
and finally, I want to know this, that before I formulate the question, suppose you and I go to Canara Bank or to State Bank of India and say, give me the question paper. You will not be given the question paper, right?
Correct.
How does Can Bank know that I'm the right person who is authorized to? So there has to be a letter of authorization,
Correct.
It's identity.
right?
Yes.
Now, who issues the letter of authorization?
Yes, Minister.
Letter of authorization is issued by the district in charge.
NT.
Director General NT.
Director General of NTA.
NTA to the city superintendent as well as centers coordinators.
Now, what does a person take to the bank? Suppose I am the center in charge.
Yes.
Will I have an authorization both for SBI and for Can Bank, or I'll have only one authorization? Just ask that.
Yes, Minister.
City coordinator is authorized. I'm sorry. Only city coordinator is authorized, not centers. He
So the
distributes. to
city
the-
coordinator is authorized to go to one of the two banks.
Yes, correct.
Now, therefore, that authorization is given to the city coordinator when? When is that given to him?
In advance. Must be-
But is the authorization given for both the banks or only one bank?
I think should be for
Just
both
ask
banks
this.
logically. For both the banks. Any, from which bank? It is given, authorization is given 3 days prior to the exam
For both the banks.
for both the banks. Then
The
he is
city
informed-
coordinator.
He is informed in the morning that you go to one of these banks and collect.
5 o'clock.
Now, if the city coordinator, suppose city coordinator was told in the morning of the 5th that you have to go to SBI, right? Now, that city coordinator would have all the centers in that city will be under his control, right? Now, did the city coordinator in this case at Jhajjar go to the Can Bank and get Can Bank papers which were then distributed to all the centers in his jurisdiction, or some centers got SBI and some centers got?
That will have to be.
He collected both.
Factually will correct.
He collected both.
He collected both.
He collected both.
How did the how did the city coordinator collect both? I mean, city coordinator at Jhajjar, he should have gone only to SBI,
Only one bank. Minister.
right?
Yes, Minister.
Now, he went to Can Bank and he went to SBI both.
Both.
Now, all the centers under him, did he distribute the Can Bank question paper?
Let's one center Can Bank paper was was distributed, which was allowed to be continued. 2 centers, the question paper was distributed Can Bank, but it was withdrawn and SBI was given, that resulting in loss of time.
All Can banks distributed, 2 of them realized the mistake,
And
withdrew
Who
Can
did
bank
realize the mistake?
yes,
out of the center coordinator.
No, but the center coordinator will.
Would not normally know, we'll take
center
the.
superintendents are different. City coordinator is for all the 3 centers.
Right. So at Jhajjar, there were 3 centers.
Yes, Minister.
Right? So he distributed the Can Bank paper to all 3?
All 3 initially. And let's in from 2, it was withdrawn and correct question paper was
But
distributed.
then why did he not withdraw it from 1?
That will have to, let's asked.
If he realized that he has made a mistake, he would have gone to all the three centers and said, look, I better give you the correct center. Why did he get-
Time lapse may be the only reason. It was realized at the other center. By that time, maybe the time gap had gone beyond the reasonable time.
Take instructions on that?
Certain assumptions.
Yes, yes. We will take specific instructions. We'll prepare a note on all these 6 questions minutes and
And my lord,
You are right. Authorization will be given in advance. You can't give authorization in the morning. Then he's informed how? He's informed on his phone?
on what the minutes app, which is created for the purpose of
And
coordination.
who informs him?
There is an
The
NTA app.
Director General NTA will
NTA
inform everyone across the country.
Yes, through the specific app created for this purpose of
That will be informed at 8 o'clock or so in the morning,
5 o'clock in the morning.
5 o'clock.
There is an
And he
application.
was informed, go to the SBI.
Yes, please.
He went to both.
Yes.
But is CanBank not informed that, look, your paper now don't distribute? Director General NTA would be informing the CanBank that, look, your paper is not to be distributed. And he would inform SBI that only your paper is to be distributed, right?
Message goes to both the custodian as well as the city coordinator.
Then how did
Where the
CanBank
lapse has
distribute? Then
taken-
how did
Yes.
CanBank distribute it?
Where the lapse has taken place, we'll find out minutes and
There appears to be a lapse.
Right.
yes, the lapse is there.
Lord, there is another blunder. Hardyal School, in the first instance, despite the Canara Bank paper was given, allowed to be attempted, they gave grace marks to the students who appeared in the Hardyal School. And because of grace marks, 2 of the 8 students who came in the first
So,
topper.
Hardyal School, where the CanBank paper was distributed,
Yes.
students were given grace.
They gave grace marks.
Why?
And the evidence of grace marks is, out of the 2 students in the first 8 from the Hardyal School, they got 718 and 719 marks. When we questioned that how come anybody get this marks, they say it is because of grace marks, otherwise it's not possible.
So grace marks were given in Hardyal School.
Even for Hardyal School, because on 4th of June, there was only 1 key.
So grace marks were given totally for 1563 students, right?
That's right. For all students, my lord, I believe.
No, not schools.
But thereafter, all these students were put in a re-examination. How, if Canara Bank paper was given and it was to be evaluated, where is the question of first giving them grace marks and then withdrawing the grace marks and putting them to again a retest?
It was a mistake which was corrected and retest. Now
Lord,
that's what.
how they give a
let's
grace
argue
marks to
for
Canara
retest
Bank
of the entire country
students?
based
Let
on
them answer that.
two instances.
Why did you give grace marks to the Canara Bank students?
No, it was not given to the.
Yes,
Canara
Whenever
the
they
grace
were,
mark? One second.
whenever Canara
Who
paper
got
was,
the grace mark? Which body of students got the grace marks?
wherever Canara Bank's paper, the wrong paper, I'll use it, wrong paper, was initially given, taken back, and the new paper was given,
Grace marks.
resulting into the time not being available, grace marks were
So,
given.
do we understand you right? That grace marks were not given to those students who had appeared for the Canara Bank booklet, but who had completed the entire booklet.
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
They were not given.
no, not yet.
So grace marks were given to only those students to whom a wrong
Page
booklet was given and it was withdrawn. Is
Yes.
that right? Is that
Page
clarity?
19.
Mid,
Yes,
yes.
Lord, I will falsify the stand just now. Their response to my note at page 19, they have reproduced a table where grace marks have been given. In that table, the center 230701 Haryana Jhajjar Hardyal School, they say their grace marks have been given. Please check it. This is what they have filed before this honorable court.
And 287.
Well, it-
Is there also.
And 287.
Hardyal School is a situation where the students attempted only the CanBank paper.
Correct. And
But did any student at Hardyal School get grace marks?
they got a grace marks. Lord. So this is how they have
One
conducted.
second. Mr. Kaushik,
yes, please.
did students at Hardyal School also get grace marks?
This is what it is.
I'll take specific clarification.
Just find out.
It's a systemic failure.
इसको कैसे rework कैसे किया उसको
given only for Hardayal school, not the other two schools. Let them. Lord,
For
fill
the
in
reason, I'll clarify.
Only in Hardayal school, grace marks. are-
Grace marks were given where?
Grace marks were given only to Hardayal school.
Yes.
Just in it's not, they are, trying to misrepresent facts without knowing the clear picture.
That's why we are absolutely with an open mind. We wanted to disclose. I mean,
Yes,
that's.
Which I am instructed to say suffered loss of time despite the fact that they attempted Canara Bank question paper.
Why don't you do this in the afternoon? Just give us on a piece of paper the correct position and
Yes.
give them a copy so we understand
Correct.
where we stand.
I'll
So we are
prepare
not
a
just
note.
taking down
Let-
something they are saying, something they are
Let
saying. we don't want to- we
let
don't
them
want to-
correctly
So-
understand it.
One second. Then let him say, let him say,
Yes,
clarify.
a neat.
But you put it down on one sheet of paper by the
Yeah,
afternoon, so
yes.
we'll then take it as a statement.
Correct.
Because then I don't want later on,
no.
applications that you
Yes,
recorded
ma'am.
wrongly.
There may be in the haste, there may be some confusion because they are jumping on.
So date, Hardayal school grace marks were given.
Yes, the other,
Grace marks were given only in Hardayal school? or-
only in Hardayal Because I am told the reason is that in the other schools, grace period, that is time of loss, was compensated by the center itself. Extra time was given to them, as a result whereof they did not suffer any loss of time.
No, but tell us
Individual-
something. In
individual
Hardayal
situations-
school, the paper was replaced with the correct paper later on?
I am told that both the papers happened to be given. After the confusion, the SBI paper was withdrawn and Canara Bank paper was allowed to be continued.
That's a fact.
In Hardayal school?
Yes, that
So
is what,
that means in Hardayal school, all students wrote the Canbank paper.
all
right?
vote can
Be
be.
firm, put
Yes.
it on a piece of paper
Yes,
so that
we
there is a
On a
responsibility.
piece of paper.
Not just
We
to,
will- yes,
just to,
And
Manoj,
all students wrote the Canbank paper at Hardayal school. Why were they given grace marks?
What we will do is, we will prepare the city-wise where this happened and center-wise. Why the different
Give
treatment?
it to us in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
we
We
will
will
do.
understand.
Yes, we will.
only one thing, Manoj, just to put
We'll
Were papers replaced and under whose orders were the papers continued?
Yes.
Was NTA monitoring this from Delhi or what happened?
It is monitored from Delhi and communication did
So
not,
did Delhi get to know in the morning that, look, the wrong paper has been disputed at these
what
ends?
time it came to the knowledge and what time the communication,
Tell us.
because large number of centers.
Okay, tell us in the
8,
afternoon.
not large number.
Now, Mr. Huda, you have to wrap up. fast.
But in fact, I'm not allowed to proceed by the other side.
Lord, only one thing,
I
Manoj,
was
just
on
to put
Hardayal
things
school.
in
There are
perspective.
20 questions on Hardayal school itself.
Manoj,
They have
only-
made 4 statements with
minute,
regard.
only a
Let
minute.
let me show. Manoj,
Only
just
a minute. Lord, my learned friend is arguing that the entire country's examination is vitiated and therefore there should be a retest. My Lord, giving examples of some mistakes
No,
here or
that's a
there.
systemic
out
failure.
of-